I think discipline's really important, actually. In a sense, it's a bit like the army without the killing. It's a bit like the army without the actual life and death bit. I really believe in because there is something about the subjugation of your own ego, which is undeniable. We've clearly got an ego, otherwise we wouldn't be doing acting. That is just a fact. But it's important to learn, I don't know, to subject that to the story or to subject that to the group, I think, is important. Turn up on time, be respectful, know your lines, all that stuff. A lot of it is not very glamorous, those things are not glamorous. They're actually, there's a bit of homework involved, and I always hated homework. I never did homework, I always hated homework, but the homework that I liked doing sort of applied to my new vocation as a teenager. I kind of thought, no, this is homework I loved it.
Steve Moffat always says that the true pressure comes if you have a failure, and that's not very nice. So there's certainly not a pressure in terms of having this global, worldwide phenomenon, because that's what it is. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. All of us have had separate successes, but Sherlock's just one of those things. It's just, everything just clicked, the timing and the casting and the writing, just one of those things, and you just have to go, well, there we are. And if you could bottle it, you would do it again, but you can't manufacture these things. It's certainly not a pressure in that way, and certainly not in terms of fan expectation, because the truth is, we have an extraordinary, active, vocal fan base, but the people who just tune in every 2 years on January the 1st are people who just go, oh, Sherlock's back on, and they like it or they don't, and that's the truth. So you can't let that into your head, because it'll start to, it starts to actually change the course of what you're trying to do, and we're really just still making it for ourselves.
It is daunting working on a series like Sherlock, yes. It's quite overwhelming, because the fan base is so strong and so protective and so fiercely protective of it. If you don't do it to the best of your ability, you kind of feel like you're letting everybody in, and I don't want to let any of these fans down, because they are invested in it. It's a really nice feeling, knowing that there is that love and that warmth for all these characters, and they do genuinely love them, and know everything about them, which is astonishing, really. Well, the role of Mary came to me in Mark Gatiss's kitchen, and we'd just watched The Hounds of Baskerville, and they were talking about the third series, and I sort of was sitting in listening to it and thinking, this sounds quite interesting. And then they said, well, look, we're going to introduce Mary Morstan. And I was like, oh, that sounds great. That's brilliant. And they said, what do you think? And I was thinking, well, I think Nicola Walker would be amazing for that. And I think, I was thinking of all these people that could play her. And they said, no, we'd like you to do it. And I kind of went, oh, really? Wow. And I think I got a bit upset, like emotional, because I'm always verging. They said, no, we would like you to play it. What do you think? And I said, yeah, yeah, I'll do that. That's fine. There is a family atmosphere on the set. We all get on really well. It's a hard shoot, because it's a thick script, there's a lot of stuff to do in it, and you have to be on top of your lines, and you have to be on top of your day. So the fact that we all get on, it helps with the day-to-day running of the scenes and getting through them.
The only way a writer ever gets started is by writing. It's seriously the only thing that you actually do. And it's the single biggest thing you ever do. It's the biggest part of the job. Whatever else you're doing, exec producing or whatever, it's all about the writing. So how I got started was writing and sending in scripts until somebody said yes. Now there's a specific story to how I got there, but which is about press gang and all that, but which is to do with my dad doing an episode of Highway, with Harry Seacombe doing an episode of Highway out of my dad's school. And my dad proposed an idea for a children's television series about a junior newspaper, and the producer, he liked it, so he said, I will do this on the condition that my son is allowed to write a sample script. And the producer said, there is absolutely no way we will use his script, but we will read it. So they read my sample script, liked it very much, and I actually ended up writing that series. Trouble with telling that story, the really serious trouble with telling that story, is people think that's how it works. It's not how it works. That was when I got lucky. Everyone's going to get lucky. What you have to be able to do is do something with it when you do get lucky. So how you get started as a writer is you write all day, every day, because if you're going to be a writer, that's what you're going to do anyway.
The thing you end up researching in Sherlock is how to kill people. I sometimes think if your search engine was checked, the police might come round.
I did a couple of dramas before I did Sherlock, which I suppose in a way was a thing where I was more recognised for. One of them was The Hour with Ben Whishaw and Don West and Romola, and I was at the time frustrated a little bit because I felt like I wanted to play bigger stuff. But I also really, more than anything, have always felt that you learn from the other actors. It helped. It helps in your casting that if you can surround yourself or try and work with, attempt to even, the kind of people that you admire, whether you're getting glory for it or not, or whether you're playing a really small part or not. For me, that's much more valuable than playing the lead in some terrible TV series where actually I feel that might close doors for you rather than opening them for you. I think that was a turning point in the sense that doing good work leads to opportunity. And I suppose my opportunity, or a big break, or what people might describe as a big break, came actually as a result of making decisions that put you in the same thought space, I suppose, as people who are really good at their job. And acting with other good people makes you better. There's just no doubt about it.
It is different if you've written it, because obviously, I mean, for instance, if I'm in a scene playing Mycroft and I've written the words, the actors will ask me certain questions and I can sort of say, no, you have to say it like this. Or indeed, as is more often the case, oh no, you can change it, or, you know. So it's quite a useful place to be.
Well, I think I was a bit inspired by Doctor Who, but that's a pretty banal answer because I ended up running it. Sherlock Holmes in book form, so it was a huge inspiration. But again, that's pretty obvious. To be honest, I don't think in those terms. I don't think anyone does. You do try and do something, says he, as the boss of Doctor Who and Sherlock. You do try and do something new. You try not to mimic something else.
Sherlock Holmes, which has probably been made into more plays more shows or films than just about anything.
Yeah, it's the most dramatized character of all fictional time, I think.
I mean, so somebody says, let's do it again. We're gonna update it for the 21st century. You know, was it immediately clear to you that this was something that was worth getting involved with, or when did it become clear to you that it would work?
Well, the sort of evolution was that I heard about it and thought, that sounds like an excuse to, re-enfranchise something to make money. It could be a bit cheap and cheesy. And then I found out who was involved, and I thought it's definitely not going to be cheap and cheesy. These guys are very good writers. I knew Stephen. My mum had done coupling, a few episodes of that, Sarah Alexander's mum, and Mark Gatiss was a huge hero of mine as a student with League of Gentlemen. And so I knew the stable was good, and I knew their involvement in Who, and I knew what they'd done with that. And I thought, well, I've got to read it, and I read it, and I completely fell in love with it. And then I went to meet them in a flat in Holland Park. Sue Vertue's mother, Beryl Vertue. Once Sue Vertue was called Beryl Vertue's daughter, but now I think it's the other way around. She's so extraordinary. But they're both extraordinary. And Beryl is a massive titan of the industry. I'm sure she's done many of these conversations. She is a legend. And I don't think I'd ever met her before. So she came, and it was her flat. I wasn't aware of it. I knew I was meeting Sue, Mark, and Stephen, and to read for it. And I think one of the scenes I did was definitely the one in the first episode where I get John to come back to the flat, and I just want him to type a text for me, and I'm sort of reposed with the steepled hands, and he's just disgusted that I've said it's urgent, it's important, can you make it? And he just comes over and basically is a secretary for me in the study in pink. And so I was doing the scene, and just before I remember Beryl coming in, she had tea and biscuits, and I sort of turned to Sue and I went, is that Mrs. Hanson? And she went, no, that's my mother. Okay, that's not a good start. Not a good start at all. Okay, forget that happened. Start again. Cancel and continue. And I did. I made them laugh a bit, and it seemed to go well. And I knew Mark as well as an actor. We were in Start of a 10 together, and we really got on. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I thought, God, this could be great. I would really enjoy doing this. Just as I was getting on my scooter, I got a call from agents saying they're really, 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 really keen for you to do this. And I put my helmet on. Well, I finished the conversation first, otherwise that would have been painful. And I said, Christ, this could be really exposing, and in a good way. But I thought this is a very iconic character, and whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, there's going to be a lot of focus on it, as there always is with any incarnation of the great consulting detective. So I took a bit of a deep breath and I thought, do I want to do this? Is this the moment to do that? Because I kind of, there'd been other things hovering around that I might have pursued or might have done, and I just went, no, I kind of want to carry on doing the work I'm doing, which is there. It's getting recognition, but it's leading to the next job, and I was fine with that. I thought this is a really big sort of step into the limelight, and then I thought, it's really good material. I'm gonna have fun doing it. We did the pilot. It was great. The BBC loved it. Said 1.5 hours, and then that was it.
And as far as the reach of this, I mean, I've read estimates. They initially thought maybe 2-3 million people are going to watch this. It was like it blew away from almost the beginning expectations as far as how many people cared about what you were doing. Was that very gratifying to see?
Well, we were all around at Sue and Stephen's, and we watched it. I'm trying to remember if I don't think Martin was there at the time. I think he was doing a job, but we all watched it, and I was really aware of this immediate audience response. I don't engage with social media. I have done a Reddit, but that was it, and I really enjoyed it. But for other reasons we could talk about in a minute, that would take over my life and probably ruin it. But I was just amazed at how vocal and immediate this response was, and it was pretty good. It was all very good by and large, I think. I mean, they didn't read me any of the bad tweets, and so these tweetings and bloggings and just everything just came alive. There was and that's very rare to have a live experience with an audience when it's a television program. It was a new experience for me, and I was literally half expecting to sort of walk outside to get the train back from Kew and just and see like banks of photographers or for news reporters to be abseiling from helicopters. And I go, what is it like to be in the new hit show? And thank God that moment was delayed. But it was very overwhelming in a weirdly distanced kind of way, because obviously it wasn't in person. But we were very aware of it being a bit of a hit. Yeah.